Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and Happy New Year's. It's 2023, and I know all of you are, well, not all of you, but a lot of you are thinking about making New Year's resolutions where you've already decided what you're going to work on for yourself this year. But in the spirit of that, I think the games industry needs to take a look at themselves and look for areas of improvement and go through with those resolutions unlike most of us will. Because those resolutions that the game industry really needs to hold themselves accountable for are going to affect a lot of people. And I've kind of distilled it down to 3 things that I really think that they need to focus on when it comes to 2023 to make the industry better as a whole. And I think number 1, everyone can agree with, and is pretty fresh in our minds, and that is the releasing of broken games. They need to find it in themselves to stop doing this. They need to quality control these things better. They need to sit down and play the game, because a lot of these games, it feels like they just weren't. Or they did, and then their parent company or somebody above them told them to launch it anyway. I'm talking to you, Game Freak. What are you guys doing over there? You had 2 different teams. One was working on Arceus, one was working on Scarlet and Violet, and yet there was some disconnect between Arceus and the Scarlet and Violet team, and I don't know why. I feel like they should have really worked together. They should have really just made that the best game it could be, because I'm going to do my review on that game still. I'm still playing the hell out of it. I love the gameplay, but man, did it need more time in the oven. Cyberpunk wasn't this year, but guess what? Very fresh in our minds as a game that came out, was a broken disaster. Battlefield 2042. So many of these games that were destined to be something amazing came out half-cooked and not ready to be sent out to the marketplace, especially for $60. Something they also need to not do, which thankfully it doesn't seem as widespread as it started to become, which is pay-to-win garbage. Battlefront 2, when that launched, had pay-to-win loot boxes in them. Not just pay-to-win loot boxes in them. Just like FIFA still does, just like NHL still does, just like Madden, all the EA Sports games are filled with pay-to-win microtransactions. And I don't want that to bleed out from that quarantined little area of these just horrible games and game practices that just completely ruin the fun for everybody else, because if you're not rich, you're not doing well. It has nothing to do with skill, because you get this massive bonus for just having a massive wallet. And that's just not fair. It's just not a fun experience to have your real world wealth affect the in-game world. It just shouldn't be. It should be skill-based, full stop. That's it. Doesn't matter. Everyone's on a level playing field, and yet a lot of pay-to-win things have tried to creep their way into the mainstream game industry. Lost Ark, unfortunately, I was excited about. Then I started playing it, and it's pay-to-win, but like, that's such a weird game. I don't want to see more games like that, even if it's a free-to-play game. I don't care. I don't want pay-to-win anywhere near the games industry, because when they take an inch, they take the whole mile, because it just constantly happens. It happened with Battlefront 2, but we beat them back. We spoke out about how much we just could not believe that they were doing this, and we just were like, you know what? We're done with you. We're done playing this game. The audience for that game just crashed. We need to hold firm, because if the game industry really doesn't keep that resolution of not introducing pay-to-win more in the mainstream, we're all screwed. A side resolution that is something that really irks me a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to be as bothered as me. They're going to be like, hey, this doesn't really affect me, whatever. It doesn't ruin the game in any way, shape, or form. And you could argue that if you want, but $20 skins, that's ridiculous. All these games out there that have these skins for your in-game characters that are $20, that's ridiculous. I know Overwatch 2 has that. Fortnite has that. I think Valorant has like $100 weapon skins. That's ridiculous. That's a resolution that they should just eliminate ridiculous pricing on things. But unfortunately, too many people are buying them, so those prices are not going to change. So that's kind of a side resolution. Not part of the big 3. Because honestly, I know I almost said the first one was the most important, but the more you think about it, the more this is really the most important and affects the most people in a really personal way. And that is the way the game industry treats their employees, because the way we have seen the industry treat their employees is despicable. The things that are going on behind closed doors that we have to have leaked out to the press, that we have to have people come out and whistleblow in these companies, is just ridiculous. People are killing themselves. People are getting assaulted. People are working just insane hours. And this has been going on for a very long time, but it's finally being brought to light, and more industries are starting to get their, at least, reputations hurt a little bit. Unfortunately, not their wallets as badly as I had hoped, but at least the legal system is starting to step in and get involved when it comes to like Activision Blizzard. I don't remember if Ubisoft actually had anything legally happen to them, but it definitely should have with all the things that were going on behind closed doors there. The game industry as a whole needs to be completely revamped with the way they treat their employees. They need to figure out better scheduling and have better managers. If you have to have crunch constantly, you're just a terrible manager. You're not managing time. You're not managing people's skills correctly. You don't have a realistic timeline. You need to figure it out so people can still have their social lives as well as come to work and be productive. It's very easy to have both. You just need to manage them correctly. And I mean, a lot of these different companies, including Activision Blizzard, lost so many people in senior management, which just shows how incompetent these people were and how they needed to be ousted a long time ago. We want to support your employees as well as your games, so treat them fairly. Is that really too much to ask? Apparently for a lot of these companies, but I still feel like you gotta vote with your wallet, everybody. You have to hold fast, as difficult as it is, against the industry bullshit. Because if you just keep letting them do whatever they want, we see what happens. Look at the mobile game industry. It's really sad to me that it feels like you kind of have to pay attention to the news and what's going on to figure out which companies you want to support and which ones you don't. I know I might be in the minority of people doing that, but I don't know. It's sad that we've come to this and that this is the state of the game industry these days. So I'm hoping that at least out of the three, they hold true to that one. I mean, all three are incredibly important things that they need to do. They need to not have broken games. They need to not be pay to win. And they need to treat their employees correctly, because all three of these things are going to determine the fate of the game industry as a whole and determine the enjoyment that we get as gamers from our games. So let me know what you guys think the game industry needs to really look at in 2023, what their resolution should be. And thanks, Tim, for the idea. Really appreciate it. And of course, please do like the video and subscribe for more content. Lots more coming this year. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. See you, everybody.